welcome our chief guest and the lead speaker for today, Mr. Amod Ashok Salgaonkar, who's a co-founder and chief operating officer of a company called A2S2 Enterprises. And he has quite a diverse portfolio in his professional career, along with holding experience in multiple arenas of business. We'll soon find out in our session today. So without spending too much time, let me start talking to Mr. Amod. If anybody has any questions, please put it in the chat box. Genuine request to all not to unmute, at least during the first half of the session, till we open it up for Q&A. Okay. So welcome, Amod sir, and thank you for accepting our invitation. So we would like to, of course, we had your CV, but we would like you to walk us through that, right from your educational background to your jobs and how you moved on to become an entrepreneur. Like what triggered, what are some of things that you have learned or achieved during your entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, sure, Nilesh. First of all, my pleasure to be here, and really thank you for providing an opportunity to interact. So basically, I did my graduation and post-graduation both in the professional fisheries sciences way back in 2008 and 2010. And since those days, I was interested really a lot into the corporate businesses as a career. So I started my journey with Reliance Retail as an assistant manager of seafood procurement. And that time I was handling the entire Mumbai region. You may be surprised, but really I was very good in academics, both in the graduation and post-graduation. And when I was completing my post-graduation, I was having a very high chances to become a scientist, but still I ignored that. And I prefer to go to the private sector because that was my focus. So from Reliance, then I moved on to the Bharti Walmart, then with Metro Cash and Carry India. And my last assignment was with Hypercity Retail. So across all the companies, I really gained high knowledge and handled not only seafood, but also meat, then dairy, frozen, bakery, and a sort of organized food categories, you can say. So it is largely a buying experience, but also involved operational as well as a supply chain expertise. And precisely that cash and carry sector, that gives me a huge exposure of wholesale as well as a HoReCa business. Now, many of the people might be aware of the HoReCa. It means the hotel, restaurant, and caterer business. And it really involves a lot much of chunk under the food category. So in this entire time, I made a very good professional connection with many companies. And in all my professional journey, I always tried to explore the avenues while keeping up-to-date knowledge in the field I am in. So while I am at Hypercity Retail, I also taken the responsibility as an international board member of Friend of the Sea, which is an international sustainable certification organization having the presence in around 100 countries. Perhaps I can say I was the only one who was working with two organizations at the same time. And I was really thankful to the then Vice President of Hypercity Retail, Mr. Rashid Hamid, and Vice President of this HR, who have really helped me a lot that time to, give the permission, particularly while on the payroll of Hypercity. That was really the incredible trust I was carrying. Later, however, I met many of the people in these relations. Then many of them have shown me my skills very deeply, then encouraged me a lot and shown the path to walk further. So I gone through that process for a quite long time. I believed on that sincerely. And then that's how I entered into an entrepreneurship, Nilesh.
Okay, thank you. You mentioned you were on the procurement side, but when you start your own job, it's not just the procurement, it's the selling, which I would say is the hard part. So that is one first part of my question. Second part is, I'm sure you had a cushy job and well-paying salary, and first of the month, it's hitting your bank, which must have changed. So what triggered and, how you decided to take the risk of becoming an entrepreneur after probably having a much relaxed life, I would like to believe, in your job.
Yeah. So yes, what you said is absolutely right. It is like you have to start the game from opposite side of the table. So when I resigned my last job, and I was considering or consistently telling myself that I'm in an entrepreneurship role now, but you know what, your habits did not change overnight. So it was the time when you were at all good positions in the corporate companies. Many people were there to support, or you were giving the orders to many of your subordinates. And that one thing I was not realized when I was doing the career, that many of the people who are associating with you are just because you're holding some sort of power, or you can say the position, your position with which you are carrying your job in that company. So the all professionals I met were not the same, but yes, most of them were like that. So I understood that clearly later. And what I believe now, the traits of the job person and an entrepreneur can't be same. So I started working on what it's need to be done to become could be good entrepreneur, I can say. And when you have to start from the scratch, it is not easy to start something in that situation. So I was really running in various directions like a headless chicken. In first 2 years of my life, when I started this entrepreneurship, I really utilized all the pennies that I have in my pocket, in the bank. But really it was just the addition of experiences and experiences without getting any sort of money. I made too much of mistakes, and every time the cost of learning was very high, as the money was just going and the incoming was not there. In fact, I reached to few of the situation in such a way that I have started thinking, should I go back to the job again? Because I was viewing most of my colleagues, my friends, they were reaching or going on ladder to the next steps, getting good jobs, reaching to new positions, getting huge money. And at the same time, I was zeroing down. Everyone was just laughing. Many were saying, he was doing a really nice job, earning good salary. He left everything, and now he do not know what exactly to be done. So I was really frustrated, and I was losing my confidence. But yes, during that time, like when something bad is happening, you also reached out to few of the people, or few good people come in your life. And that's what happened to me as well. So few of the good mentors, rather I will say one of the best mentors, have entered in my life, and their opinion was simple. They used to say that, no matter what may happen, if you want to quit, you can quit, not a problem. But then think why you have started. It would not be any time the 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. job. And I given a deep thought on it, and what they were saying was right. Means it was literally true. I realized the same things. So those were the sleepless nights, but yes, I decided not to go back, and then move on to the journey, whatever I have chosen.
Okay. But I think, what was the trigger, like when you chose, or like I'm sure there are many students or many people who are professionals and want to do their startup. What was that trigger when you decided? Was it a certain number of years of experience or whatever? I mean, what triggered you to become an entrepreneur?
So basically how it was, Nilesh, so since the time I joined the company, or you can say perhaps the different companies, so I was always viewing that, okay, I know many of the things, and I would like to tell through the presentation or through the demonstration to many of my bosses. But all bosses were not same. In fact, in couple of companies I got really good bosses, but in most of the companies it was like, even if you are putting all sort of your efforts, it was not necessarily that your boss should give that credit to you. And I used to get a lot much of discouragement during that time, because I was having one habit: if I'm making something good, I will spend a lot of time on that. And I was really good in extracting the data, making the presentation, planning the strategies and how to move forward. And when you have started doing that case, someone is utilizing your work, and they are just putting their names as a credit, and people are not even aware that who has actually did the work. So that has happened couple of times. I'm not complaining anything, but that was also a different experience which I got in during that particular time. So there was a situation which came in my life, and the people, like I was surrounded by few of the good people, and then I started discussing with them that these things are happening to me. And so then most of them, their suggestion was, "K, if you are that much of confident, why can't you try on your own? Anyhow, you are good at many of the skills, and in case even if you are failing, then there is an always option available to come back. That you should try at least. There should not be guilt at the end of your career that you haven't even tried." So I taken quite a good months, particularly on that thought, and later I decided, let it be. I have the confidence on myself, and let's go about it. And since the college days, I used to explore a lot. So I was confident that it is only about, that how I have to manage the money part, but rest of the things I was very much confident about, and that has trigger in some way. And I really taken a bold decision, means not even much of the what may happen in case if I didn't get anything or sort. I just asked my wife that I'm going to do these things, and I don't know if something good may happen. It will be good, but there may be the chances that worse may also come. Are you ready for this? And she told me that, "Ke, about all right, I have a confidence on you. You can move ahead. I am with you." So next day I put the resignation, and that's how I still remember that day. It was March 2017, and 31st March 2017 was my last date with the Hypercity. And from there, then I started doing the things on my own.
Great. And I think earlier you also mentioned that you learned a lot. Generally, person learns a lot from his mistakes. So, what are some of those, so that people who are attending here can learn from your mistakes and probably avoid doing them in their entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, so one of those things, like, whenever we are on some sort of positions, or you can say on some good level positions, many of people are working under you. So you started, in many of the cases, what I have seen is whatever orders are coming from upside, so they will start giving the message to the downward people, get these things done, get those things done, and they will assign the task. And there might be the stickiness to the time as well, that okay, you people have to do this much of time or that much of time. So timeline has usually been given, but even if it is not happening, in many of the cases, the next timeline, they are taking, and they are moving ahead. That is not the case with the entrepreneurship. That's what my opinion is about. And most of the times, you should be on your toes throughout the day, and you have to take the decisions, because you know that the field in which you are right now, I mean, in startup or in entrepreneurship, there are thousands of entrepreneurs around you. They are also trying to prove themselves. So it is like, if the chance has come to you, you have to act upon it immediately. So one of the change which I have seen in myself, like during my job days, I used to, okay, now this task has come. Let me complete. I have a time, I have a deadline of, you can say, the end of this month. So I will start doing during last week, and I will finish it. But when I entered into the entrepreneurship, and when I went with those habits, it has given me a very bad impacts, not only on the personal habits, but also on a financial levels. Then I started understanding that if I would have done the same thing immediately, maybe that world would have finished, and I would have get more time to do certain other number of things. See, in job, you know that by end of the month, the salary will be credited to you. Here, if you are doing the work, money will come to you. If you are not doing anything, it will not come. And in India, at least whatever I am doing, is most of the people, when you are doing it on your own, they considered you as a freelancers, no matter even if you have lot much of professionalism or so. So it is like you have to run behind 100, 500,000 people. Then some people will say, okay, we are ready to give you a chance. Then they will give some work. You have to prove from that, and afterwards some good things may start happening to you. So my learning was, like, time is most crucial than money. So investment in time is most important, and I think most of the entrepreneurs should give the value to the time, whatever opportunities they are going through or coming in front of them, they should grab it immediately. Most of the cases, even if it is happening like whether I do not know whether I am able to do it or not, but if opportunity is it's coming, then you should take it. It is very much possible to decide later that how to handle it exactly, because there are many skill set and many work professionals available. If you are not capable, you can hire those people and can get the work done. But if you miss that opportunity, then you might not be knowing when the next opportunity is coming. So that was the thing.
Okay, good. Is entrepreneurship for everybody?
I don't think so, because my personal opinion, or what I can say, the data that I have seen, particularly like if there are a number of startups, there are only in between 1 to 3% chances are there that you may get success about it. Or many of the people what I have seen, that they consider themselves like I will share some experience. It has happened particularly during COVID, and it is much interesting because I was into the seafood side, and what I was viewing is there are many people entering into the seafood. Like I have seen number of people on the landing centers, and to most of them I discussed like, what was your background? Then some of them were telling, okay, I'm from engineering side, I'm from MBA side. Then I asked why you have started this seafood business. Then that time their answers were, okay, now we were doing this job. Now we do not have job. Anyhow, we have to do something, and this might be easy. So we have entered. In fact, most of them have taken even their galas and a kind of thing, put the investment. But as soon as there were the impacts lowering down of the COVID, I have seen most of those people have went back again to the job. But the time they have came in, they have really spoiled the regular business which is happening for the regular entrepreneurs, or those who are actually doing the business in some genuine way. But it has to happen. You have to face all those things. So I don't think so entrepreneurship is for everyone. If you have really a passion and a think like a, no matter whatever may happen, but I will not go back, then only the people should come to the entrepreneurship. Otherwise, job is always better.
Okay. You have a co-founder? I mean, because there's a question that has come up that someone is trying to find a co-founder, but he's not finding, or can you give any suggestions? So do you have a co-founder? Or have you thought about having a co-founder?
So it is like co-founder additionally can be taken up, but right now I don't think so that there is a requirement. I also have the chairman and the main founder. However, he is one of the busy man, or I can say he has a lot much of businesses on his name, and then he is mentoring. Basically, we have started the journey together, and then he handed over this seafood and related business to me, and he is guiding me in many of the times. And like I told you, we really think in some different ways. We even employ the manpower only when it is required. So we, in short, also working on the perspectives, everyday low price kind of a thing. So co-founder to be taken or not, that is always possible if there is that much of scale of the business happening with whatever we are doing.
So can we also say this way that in case you don't find a co-founder, maybe having some mentors could actually help, who can actually guide you? I mean, generally why you want a co-founder is because, I mean, to answer to Mr. Swapnil's question, as to how to find a co-founder, a suitable co-founder.
Yeah, so I mean, like I'm mentoring right now to many of the startups as well, like how to do the things or how to take the business on next level. One of the things which, at least I believe, in case if you're going for any sort of co-founder or so, first you need to understand whether his wavelengths are matching with you or not. That is what most important, and whether he or she may able to spend the time or not. I have seen many of the young boys and girls, those who are very much passionate, then they are coming together. And after certain time, then, one of them is saying that, no, I am not fitting into this, I'm getting something else, and I'm moving it out. So it is one of the thing which you need to understand, whether the things which you wanted to get it done from your co-founder, whether those qualities are there in him or her or not. That you have to decide, and it is not easy. There are no any metrics has been there that, okay, A, B, C, D, E, these things are there, tick mark, if it is happening, it will go. It is not like that. And in order to get some good founder, what I will say is, the co-founder which you would like to take in, you have to spend some of the time in the sense, quite some good months, because unless and until you spend the time, how you will come to know that whether he or she will be good for you or not. In fact, in most of the startups, what I'm observing these days are the employees have joined in some good way. They are putting their efforts, they are showing their passions, they are at good levels in that particular company, and after certain time they are being declared as the co-founder of that company. So those are also the new things which are happening. But in short, if I have to say, there are no any set rules that if you do this, then co-founder is good, and if you do not do that, then co-founder is not good. It varies from businesses to businesses.
Okay, very good. Can you also walk us through your journey? I know you went from Basa to shrimp to tilapia and all that. Like, you probably kept changing or recalibrating a little bit of your strategies. So can you walk us through your seafood entrepreneurship journey a little bit?
Yeah, of course. It is like, Nilesh, you have some a determination to do many things, but situation make you work on some of the other things too to reach your goal. So in my case, actually, I started with something, but later on, what I understood is that I was having a very large experience of seafood category. So I again spent some good time, and then I have decided to work upon the food fish, which no one is concentrating. So there are n number of food fishes which are available, and people are consuming it. It is commercially available, but I then thought to concentrate on such fish which might not be available right now. Might not be available in the sense, it is available, but people are not concentrating a lot. So because of having the good exposure to the horeca, I was having the knowledge of that segment. So after certain study on ground, I decided to work on the boneless fillets of fish and the structures made from those fillets of fish. So I concentrated on tilapia fillets, also little bit on the basa fillets, and particularly the customized structures made from those fillets. Now, you may have eaten the fillet of fish in McDonald's some point in time, right? So many of such items can be made from the structures which we were producing. For example, fish fingers or the fish chips. So we used to make the raw structures and used to supply to various manufacturers who then used to made the items like these fish chips and fish fingers, and then they used to sell to the further customers. We really did this at a very good level, along with selling of normal fillets of fish too. And when we decided to do that business, we arranged, means we made the arrangements of the money, and then we started working on ground throughout. Our efforts went really well. It took long, but we started coming in good shape, and then business initiated, which was really most important.
Okay, great. There are a few questions that have come up in the webinar. I know some of them are on the funding and how to sustain. But more than that, I think what I would like to ask you is, selling is the hardest part. You may have a great product. How do you really sell, or how do you really capture the market?
Yeah, so you are asking particularly about the product that which I was into, or you are asking in general?
We can start with your product or your journey. In your journey, how you achieve the sales.
Yeah. So basically, how it has happened, Nilesh, when I was into the retail, like I spent quite good time in the purchase of those particular commercial seafood commodities. But what I realized then, that all these fishes are selling at quite good prices or quite high prices, then what we need to be done in order to reach to the masses, or which product should I take, which can be affordable to many, and they can still consume it with good taste, as well as most important, good protein. That's how I concentrated on tilapia. It was available at quite comfortable, or I can say the affordable prices. It is having the white meat. So there are very few fishes who has the white color in their meats. And from this particular meats, it is possible to make many of the good products. Like, just to give you some example, the fillet of fish which we are eating into the McDonald's. So the name of that fish is something different, and it is getting procured from USA. So until that time, like in McDonald's, they used to procure that fish through import, and they used to make those products. In similar way, there were other companies who were procuring some sort of white fish, or maybe that imported fish, and they used to make the fish fingers, fish shapes, and rest of the fish. Why we come up with the tilapia? Because it was in comparison cheaper. If we compare with that imported fish, it is having pure white meat. It is possible to produce domestically, and there were sources available throughout. So in a nutshell, our aim was to give to give or produce the product in such a way it should be nutritious, it will give the high protein, and it will give the maximum nutrition to the consumers. So tilapia is having particularly the high range of omega-3 as well as proteins, and it tastes really very good. And that's how then we thought, instead of going individually, why not to reach most of the HoReCa players. So one of the problem or difficulty that we were aware of, that if in case if we are going to the HoReCa, then they will ask for the credit terms. Like nowadays also in most of the hotels, they are asking for 3-month period or a 2-month period or 2.5-month period. So it was not at all, economical to us. So we have reached out to some other people, or the people in between, who used to or who were ready to take the stocks in bulk from us, and they were ready to invest their money for further distribution. So we work on a very thin margins, and our particular aim was to enter in the business. So we entered through that way, and we really got good success. That time particularly, no one was making such kind of structures. You may not believe, but I really reached to almost more than 150 plus companies, different companies, exporters, then manufacturers, different sort of producers. Many of them said no to me. I was having the money, but still they said, okay, we don't want to make the product, but still we put our efforts. We got some few good people, and we made it. So that's how it has taken quite good time, to reach that level. But finally we made it. And it is not like that we particularly only decided on that tilapia fish. At the same time, when we were approaching to the HoReCa customers, that time they have given us certain suggestions. So they have asked us also to make some sort of fillets from the shinty fish. So it is getting captured into the sea. They also suggested basa, and they also suggested few of the fishes. So we made everything. We given them the samples. However, they chosen tilapia, and that's how it has been started. So along with tilapia, the basa was also moving good, but basa, a domestic basa. We haven't promoted particularly the basa from the Vietnam. We have given the preference to the domestic producers, and we made the fillets as well as certain customized structures, and we sold that as well. So those were our two prime products, the basa and the tilapia.
Okay, great. So if I captured it, I tried to capture a few of your key points. One was obviously you spoke about identifying a problem statement, and based on that, you kept calibrating and your business changing small strategies, thing like that. That I think it was the key for your
Right.
success. Second is your past experience in the seafood industry, in the retail industry,
Yes.
is something which I think you've tried to piggyback of that. Third, I think you have tried to focus on a Horeca space, which is more of a B2B. So your brand is not necessarily known by
Yes.
everybody, but
Exactly.
end consumer or like end customer, but still
Right.
where, because a lot of startups seem to have this passion about creating their own brand and being a
Yeah.
household name and stuff like that, but your strategy has been more
Different. Yeah.
so and there are many other things that I've captured, but what I would also like to know is today is the world of instant success, instant food and all that, right? So you can tell from your experience, I'm sure some of these are very young students or young professionals here, that how long realistically does it take to become stable, or we can call it break even, and to really become profitable or successful or whatever?
Yeah. That's actually a very tough question and a good question, however.
That's why it's a roast.
But
No? It is
yeah,
tough
but
questions.
to my opinion, I think it is all state of mind that how you need to go for the profits, or particularly the way or the strategies you would like to proceed further. So for example, our five fingers are not same. So in the same way, the strategies would not also be the same in various of our businesses. So there are certain structures various founders follow on their own. For example, like the kind of people like me, what we will focus on, uh, even if we are not getting funding, that's fine. We will put our money, but whatever business we will do, we will not do in any losses. No matter, even at the start, even if the business is low, that's perfectly all right. It's viable. We will take our time, but we will not invest just for scaling the business. So that is one sort of strategy. Then few of the people, those who are going for only scaling the business, like they are running behind the funding. We want to scale it up, the valuation, and then either they will stick to it and they will actually grow their business to the core of their heart. And the other category which I'm viewing a lot much these days, they just want to scale themselves by taking the funding, and after that they will sell that business to certain other big businesses. Now that might also one of the objective. It is not wrong. It is totally depend on which sort of a business you would like to move further. Like in India also, even if you take the example of a Flipkart founder, so he also made a very good business. He got the good money, and whatever money he has got after selling that business to the Walmart, he has started again his own startup. Now that shows that he is always into in that entrepreneurship. Particularly, he haven't just taken the money and just seated it down. He has again invested it. But how many founders or startup owners that you are viewing that they are doing this kind of things? Or there are certain founders, those who have taken the funding, their aim is very much clear. They are burning, but now they have started coming into the profit. So it can be just that, okay, their aim was clear, but few of them I have seen that they are scaling the business and they are selling in between. Like even while mentoring few of the startups, there was one startup, I will not take the name, but when I asked her, okay, what exactly that you need to do, so her aim was very clear. Okay, sir, we are putting our investment in the R&D. We know this is a niche market for this product, but still we want to enter in this market. We will put our most investment in the R&D. We will make good product, we will launch it. We are confident about getting funding. We will make some scale, and in these years we have to sell it. So her strategy was very clear. So once she will get the valuation, she may able to sell the business at certain value, and she can get some good amount of money with which whatever she would like to do further, that she can do. So the thought is, the aim should be clear in your mind. that what you would like to do it, and as per that then you have to plan the strategies. Like many of the people are aware about the great Warren Buffett as well. Now during earlier days many of the people was not aware about him, but these days everyone is knowing about his uh, what I can say, the skills and the way he has making the investment. But if you just go deeper and deeper, and if you see, then he has started making investments not since last few years. He has started it since the age of 13 or 15. If you go much into the deeper, you will understand. And he was investing his time over the years. And with that lot much of experience, then he started applying most of his calculations were started coming exactly right. And he started getting the good money in less period of time. But for that, he invested lot much of his time in the earlier phase. So it is all about whether you would like to go for the instant access or whether you would like to go for the long term. It is up to you. You have to decide. And there are always the ways are there, and nothing wrong, nothing right, because one thing good as in right for one person might be wrong for some another person. So there is no any exact definition of right or wrong. You have to see that you are not harming anyone, and you have to grow as per whatever strategies that you are deciding.
So I don't know if you intentionally or unintentionally diverted did not answer the question, but I know it's a difficult question. But how long, maybe if you can put a number, and I know every business may have its own thing, but how long do you really think the startup needs to sustain? Because today, like I said, people
Let
want
me.
success in 1 year or 2 years.
I'm just interrupting you for a moment so that the good discussion may happen. I have not particularly, taken that question somewhere else. It is like, if you ask that the business, for example, if you ask the startup in the seafood business or the startup in the sweet business, then as per business, the scenario changes. Then how you can fit the one story or one basic principle to all the businesses? It is not like that. Even in the same business, I have seen that one startup is growing with very good way, same business other startup is going down. So it lies in their strategies or the ways. Like you see, there was a story before, if I'm not wrong, before 2020, there were many online business like startups were coming. You may have seen the growth of the Licious or the Captain Fresh or a similar kind. If you have seen, particularly all these online startups before 2020, 2020, it was struggling. Like even when I was into the modern trade and cash and carry, we have supported a lot to the big basket. It was very new that time. And being particularly the fresh food commodity manager, we were promoting that this should sell. But we were facing a lot much of problem. Many a times people accepting the order, they were not taking the order, or someone was not in the home. So all these startups were burning huge losses. But you see the change in the shift in 2020 when that COVID came. Everyone was inside, and trust me, these startups were not having a time even to breathe properly. That much of business they were getting. So it's a matter of time. Now they started initially well, and they were burning, but the opportunity came and they tapped it well. They made the good business. Now again, if you see last year's story, 2022, there are situations where most of the startups have not got the funding in this particular phase, or in case if they are getting funding, it is going upwards. Why? Because again, this recession and other things are there. So what I mean to say is, okay, you should be flexible. You can't apply rule one to the other business or a sort of things. You should be flexible. You need to adapt as per the situation. That was the whole. But if you ask clearly, so if I have to say, like I told you, okay, I'm not going for any businesses which are going into the losses. because in the initial stage you will not trust. Someone have fooled me in a way, okay, amount transfer the money without which we are not making the money, and I really transferred it. So I lose couple of bucks from my pocket even without doing anything. So those kind of situation make you tougher and tougher, or make you very clear whether you would like to put the investment or not, whether this is right or not, and you take the call accordingly. So there are no any strict rules that okay, if you have started from this, then you will. But these days maybe this problem come, okay, you are just running a startup, you are a startup owner, we do not know whether the money is coming or not, and if you are at the age of marriage, do not know whether you will get a girl or a boy, don't know. But these are actual things. Like, if you want to do it dedicatedly, no matter what may happen, unless and until you get that success, startup owners should stick to that. And that is not happening with most of the startups. That's why the success rate is lower. Otherwise we would have seen the success rate more. So things need to be changed. But yes, if you have any specific question with specific industry, I may try to give an answer. But in general, at least I can say this only.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So I'll ask one last question and then probably open it up to the
Yeah.
audience also here. And there are a few questions people had asked when they signed up for the webinar.
Yeah.
And the common theme over there is about funds. Like,
Yeah.
where do I bring funds when
Yeah.
I want to start off the business? Maybe you can talk from your own experience, or how do I get funds as I grow, whether I go to banks, whether I go to the sharks or angels. How do I do it?
Yeah. So what I will suggest is to the startups, like if they are just starting, they haven't did anything, then if they have the idea ready or they are doing some sort of experiments, then the best thing is to approach to various of a grants or different entrepreneurship cells of the good colleges, or to the organizations who are providing the grants. For example, BIRAC is there. Then many people are there, or organizations are there like CASMB, who are actually helping to the entrepreneurs. So during initial levels, you should go for that. Then in case if you have now certain funds with you, you have made the things, and now you would like to go for the other round of funds, then in that cases you should approach to the proper investors, where you can particularly pitch as per your business, and you can get the amount. As far as the banks and other things are concerned, like I told in my previous part, there are many businessmen who do not want to go for just to raise the funding from the private investors. Now they are also believing on the thing that, okay, we know that this business will happen and we are going to get the orders, we just need to raise the funds. Then they are going for the loans. Now when you are going for the loans, also those interest rates and the things varies from the banks. There are a lot much of schemes also available. So those schemes you should try to adapt it as per your business level. What I mean to say is, don't depend totally on those such schemes, because there are always or you can say there are probably the chances that delay may happen in a transfer of funds even if your scheme is get approved. So that you should be in a way like, from where you will get the funds, for example banks, you should take it, you should start the business, but at the same time apply to the schemes as well, because whatever money will be coming to you at the lower interest rate or at the lower sums, that should get utilized. So that is one of the things, because I'm not the core financial person, but yes, there are much more options available these days, and I think you can get that information very well rather than me. In fact, Nilesh can answer well because he is working for a long time through this CSMB. I haven't raised the funds until now, and I really have not much great idea about it. So that's how it is.
Okay, great. Thank you. And you've answered all our questions in a very nice way. And we are grateful. I'm sure our students or our startups or people who want to become a startup have learned a lot. So I'll open it up to any questions that our people who have joined us here today If you can unmute yourself and ask, but be specific.
And I hope I have not bored too many of you.
No, all of them have stayed. I mean, if anything, the number kept going up. I've been tracking. The
Yeah.
number actually kept going up.
So feel free to open, even if it is a bullish questions, even if you think it is, no problem. You can please ask.
And in case they want to connect with you, maybe you can share your email address or any
Yes,
way
yes.
how they can reach to you in the chat box, so that offline also they can connect. Anybody? Any? Yeah, perfect. People who have joined, if they want to ask, maybe you can take 1 or 2 questions. We're at 4:58.
Yeah.
And if you have, but you're shy to ask, then you can feel free to email it to Mr. Amod. They sent his email
Yeah.
address in the chat
Just
box.
Giving the LinkedIn as well. Just a moment. So this is my LinkedIn profile as well. In case if you wish to connect, please connect. And most of you are entrepreneurs, then I will suggest also to join the Entrepreneurship Summit of IIT Bombay as well, which is happening on 28 and 29 Jan. Much of the events are happening over there. Maybe you may get a chance to get in touch with most of the mentors, investors, or similar like-minded students, professionals, entrepreneurs. So utilize that event. Free passes are also available, but restricted to few events. But of course, you can check. Many of the people are gathering over there.
Okay, so I take that as there are no questions at this point. So we like to close ideally by 5.
Yes,
So
of course.
Hemlata, you want to propose a vote of thanks or?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
On behalf of CSMB, I thank you, Mr. Amod sir, for his valuable time and excellent presentation. Thank you, our president, Mr. Nilesh sir, and thank you all the participants for joining today's webinar. Thank you, sir.
Thanks a
Thank
lot, Ajay. Bye-bye.
Yes. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.